I've been meaning to come on for some time. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if it sounds okay. Let's see. Um, just because I'm going through a part that I drive through where I lose it just a little bit. But first part of this, I'm going to just catch up with everyone on what I've been doing. And then after that, I'm going to go into the mother of the Maiden, the Crone. That is something that you hear about, but no one has ever talked about the different portals that you pass through or you can pass into, and the deeper levels of emotional and spiritual connection it gives you to source, and the ability to, anchor in source energy. No one ever told me that. I'm living it now, and I just realized, wow, there's this greater depth. So you can skip ahead to that if you want. But just a little bit of a life update. So, couple things. Got a new boyfriend. Wasn't trying to rush to get a boyfriend. I was looking for marriage. But then I sort of like, I don't know, as soon as you back off and go, if I don't get married and I just date, I mean, it's really more fun than that's what happens. This is one that my guy had matched mate on the spiritual. And that's going really good. So in a different phase, it's sort of nice. He's a masculine construction worker provider. Wasn't as attractive as I liked. It wasn't terrible, but not as much as I wanted. But I swear to God, I don't know. He really likes to take care of me, provide, protect, take care of everything, help around the house, fix things around the house. So there is a point in which looks really need to go out the window, and you just being calm, and it's like my nervous system is soothed. And this is going to be sort of controversial, but there's a lot of women who are spiritual leaders, but it really does help to have a masculine provider protector, even if it's another woman, but it's your masculine provider protector assisting. It soothes your nervous system and keeps you in this equilibrium where you can shift into higher dimensions. So no one wants to say it, but I'm always at my most financially successful when I am partnered up, right? When I have a provider who is working beside me. So no one wants to talk about that in spirituality. There is a physical aspect, and that is having that partner stabilize you as you're shifting through all the levels. So just something no one wants to talk about. But if you notice, the spiritual leaders with the most money, it's always the ones who are, with a partner versus the one that are without. So I have that lovely man, fixes things around the house, just fixed my water heater last night, gave me a good deal because he knows everyone in the contracting business. So he knows the best products because he installs them all and can give them to me, set it up. My hot water is on fleek now. Pressure wah. Water heaters don't even last 5 to 8 years. Mine lasted 15, so it was 2008. So it was a little gross, but we got that fixed. And then, helps pay the bills every week. Just gives me money, cash apps it, or pays cash. I like that. Yeah, it's just really nice. It soothes my nervous system. As much as I have my guides who are here to help me, you do get moments of oh man, especially with all this inflation, where you're oh my gosh, but that helps. So that is one life update that I have just sort of been focusing on house, home, and things that having a partner like that just really helps me to do. Because I have help now, so I can focus on things like decorating and whatnot. Other life update is, you guys might remember, I sold one of my rental properties, and I bought it for $25,000, but sold it for $200,000, $210,000. So I paid off my current home, so that was basically equal to the mortgage on my current home. And now selling off another home that I bought for $35K. And this one was interesting. So I have tenants there, and they just renewed in March. And I wasn't planning on selling it, but I was like, man, I got to clear off all this debt. Let's just do it in one fell swoop. Right? So, so it's funny because they're in there. I was talking to the realtor. He is saying, first-time home buyers pay more, but they're not going to buy a property that has people in it. So we're going to have to list it for investors. So it's different in price. So the investor price by tenants was $109,000. Right? And the price for buyers is $125,000. So it's in Ohio, and basically everything is 300, 400, 500,000. So if you put anything in the hundreds, people are snapping it up because it's either that or rent an apartment for the rest of your life, right? Like it's not coming down. And so it was 109 if my tenant stayed in. 125 we can start the listing price at if they're out, because we can target a different market, not an investor who's going to wait 8 months to get a tenant out. And there's nothing under, there's no other properties under 100, $200,000 in this location. So, it'll go pretty well. So I actually did a cash for keys. And so I was able to get that deal. It'll be out in like 25 days if I pay them $3,000. So it's pay nothing, keep them in, and list for $109,000, or pay $3K, get them out in 25 days, clean condition, in great shape, and list at 125. So of course it's worth more money. It's worth the money to do that. So I didn't want to pay them that money, but like to get someone to move, you got to pay something. Like they're two brothers. So we're gonna see how that goes. Regardless, we were going to list either or. It's just nice that they were gonna do that. So I just want to give you guys that update on that, just to sort of see how that world of real estate, how it's not necessarily the cash flow you make each month. It's, I've been sitting on this property for 10 years and it's 5 times or 8 times its value. And, I can use that money for X or X purpose. Enough to pay all of my debts off, plus have a little bit more for, I just want a new car, and enough to left over to invest in another property that's close by. So we're going to do that. So that is life update. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Sorry I didn't get to that earlier. But yeah, let's get into it. So the Maiden, the Mother, the Crone. So I want to tell you, each of these that I didn't realize is a portal. You being an innocent maiden up until married and sexuality, that is a portal. It's a portal that's really wonderful. It contains innocence. It contains trust. It contains so much. And because of that, because it contains all of that, it's just a beautiful, fresh expression before this 3D world really starts to get into it. So it's a beautiful time in your life. Not every woman has a child, right? So not every woman is going to enter into the portal of the mother. Now, I can only speak about the portal of the mother, of which I've been in the last 6 years, what that's open, that no one talks about, and how to get that. But yeah, that's a real portal. And when you enter in this portal as the mother, if you actually do it, there are much greater depths of spiritual progression that are now available to you, right? And these aren't necessarily, and from what I'm learning about it, right? So everyone's deep. I know people without kids who are very deeply spiritual, but there's this connection that is just so deep when you have a kid, that when you don't. And I just want to talk about my own experiences. Once I entered that portal, greater capacity for love, for nurturing, for understanding, for compassion, all the things, patience, understanding, acceptance, right? All of the things that spiritually grow you. You just get this greater depth and capacity, which if you're on a spiritual mission is really amazing, because it just helps you vibrate at a higher place faster. It helps you vibrate at a higher location. So you would think that it's going to be harder with a child, but your spiritual powers and gifts become stronger as a mother, that a maiden has to work harder at to achieve. So that's pretty amazing. Spirituality is a big part of my growth. It's a big part of my power. The reason I can be so confident is because I do have power and access, right? And so I walk and I have a certain energy, and it's real energy. I'm not playing or joking. And I'm really grateful that being a mother helped me access those greater depths. And I'm like, everyone talks about the mother being grown. No one talks about the actual physical, emotional depths and capacity and spiritual capacities in which it puts you in. No one told me about it. I just thought I'd become a mother. I didn't know that there was a spiritual attainment and a deeper connection to your spiritual gifts and a deeper ability to delve into your spiritual gifts because of it. No one told me that. So I really wish I would have known, right? And so I cannot speak about the Crone. The Crone is something I have not done. But what I know about this, not everyone really gets to the depths and capacity of the mother. So we're all mothers. Some mothers' spiritual depths and capacity and it's strictly on the level of healing you have. So if you're a mother, but you haven't done the healing, your levels and depths and capacity to reach those higher spiritual ideas of, the compassion, patience, understanding, acceptance, very much, all the, surrender, flow, all of that really becomes really, if you haven't done any of this if you haven't done any of the healing work, it's harder for you to reach those things, which is a little bit of a shame because you have access now to it's like getting access to a higher level. Like before you were capped at here, but being a mother, you're here and it goes to here and it's a huge jump. It's a very big jump. If you haven't done any of the healing work, it'll stunt the spiritual growth and depth because you'll have too much, it's like energetic gunk in the way. You'll have too much emotional gunk in the way. So your clear connection to your source, divinity, and power, and that flow with the universe just really becomes muddled. So yes, if you don't have a child entering to that portal that motherhood brings, you can't do it. But even if you do it, say you do have a kid, and this is not the goal for everyone to have the kid either. It's not. I'm just letting you know there are spiritual gifts and abilities that you access when you do it. So for the ones who do access it, it depends on your level of healing to be able to really connect to that deep source. And that's very rich. It can give you a lot of power. So not everyone gets to the same depth, and it just depends on how much you don't have in the way, so you're not as triggered and can really just flow with that emotion. Now, I'm very deep into so you know how you guys go to therapists? That's how I've been dealing with spiritual and emotional healing like that for 7 years. Insecurity, not being good enough, what you deserve, being triggered. Why are you angry? Oh, I am a mother. Thank you so much. Why are you angry? This and that. So many different levels of healing that I personally have been going through that I had to sift through to get to a place where I had a child and I'm just not bringing so much of the nastiness. I help release that and I could just bring sort of that source and connection to the motherhood. So I do have a really, really lovely connection with my daughter. Lately around Mother's Day, I watch elephant videos because I think the purest example of pure love between a mother and child is like the elephant kingdom. So I highly recommend you guys check it out on YouTube if you want to see the purest expression of it. And so I can relate to it, but that's just because of all the healing work when I brought the child in. And now the deeper depths and connection to flow in the universe I have as a mother that you get to experience. That's sort of like the portal that you can go into. Not everyone will. And then I can't speak on the Crone. The Crone is not just me getting gray hair, although that is an indicator that someone has reached it. Many people do not enter the wisdom and heightened levels of the Crone. So we've known about it, we heard it, we're just like, oh, the old one is the... No, it's not you just being old. They're going to be an old woman and she is nowhere near, she's not even a mother, like she's nowhere near gaining those depths of what that spiritual attainment is. She's nowhere near the depths of spiritual attainment just because they're older. It has to be combined with the capacity and deep understanding of the spiritual. And age alone is not the indicator. So I wish I could find an example of someone who exhibits the Crone. Oprah is one that really does, because her understanding of life, source, flow is just really high. So she's an example of someone who, as she ages, does have that wisdom that's very deep and connected to source and the ultimate truth. I feel like if I'm on the current path that I'm on, I definitely will hit it, and my hair will all turn gray because that is an indicator of the Crone. So, but like I said, it is mixed with wisdom. It is not just age. There's a lot of older people who do not have any deep wisdom at all. So please do not get that confused. So I can't speak on the Crone as I'm not one. I'm 41, so not a Crone. So I do know that, like, as long as I keep up my spiritual practice, which is pretty much every other day, channeling, speaking, communicating with my higher guides, seeing what I need to do, all that, and being guided by them, asking them questions, seeking their perspective before making my own physical decision on Earth, because my Earth decision is different than that. I know that I am being guided and led to the right place. So, eventually I do think I'll reach that Crone level. And when I do, I'll be more than happy to explain or go into detail about what that next level portal entails and what it does. So this is just something that's been on my mind. So not everyone will become a mother or enter that portal. Now, can you enter this portal without having a child? Yes. So say you are someone who takes on the responsibility of a child that's not yours, like an adopted child, you can access those levels as well. So it is a portal that just gives you access to deeper spiritual connection. It doesn't have to physically be in your body. That's what I channeled from my guides. But if you do it like I did, and you do it with a healed nature, meaning you did the work to understand all the crap they try to put into your head, and you released it to go back to your purest self, which is just like, I am me and I am enough. And that's all I have to be to live a happy life. Once you get to that level and you're a mother, it's just amazing the kind of joy that you can bring to your child and not give generational trauma to them, So it's interesting, if I'm a little snappy with my daughter, she gets an apology, right? If and it's a real apology. I'm like, I'm sorry, I was really tired, I shouldn't have snapped at you, you're fine. Like, she gets that. Sometimes she says, it's okay, I forgive you. Sometimes she's like, okay, I hear you, but she's still a little hurt, And so it's great when you access these deeper levels without all the trauma. I'm looking at my daughter, and we have this huge, just beautiful love between each other. And it's really just nice because I never had this relationship with my mother. Her mom still has trauma. She ain't trying to heal. She ain't trying to do the healing. And that is her right. But that means that, instead of this warm, loving environment to grow up in, it was just feeling like you're on your own. And my daughter, I get to see what happens when you raise a kid and they're fully loved and supported, and you have this clear communication, and they know that they demand respect because I make sure I give them respect, and that they understand that they're supposed to get that based on their actions. It's just interesting seeing the kid that you can have, And it's always interesting seeing when the kid goes out around other kids who aren't in that same environment, who don't have a healed mother. They do have a mother wound. They don't have a healed parent. They don't have someone who access deeply tapped emotions. And what I then have to do with my daughter, who's just like, why is everyone so mean? And so many kids experience this. And you're just like, babe, they don't have moms who are healed, or who takes the time to apologize to them, or moms that call them names, and dads that are abandoning them. They don't have that. So it's a little sad that you see the suffering and you know where it comes from. But yeah, so it's just interesting seeing my daughter going out into the world, other people who aren't doing the work, but they're still part of your life, and navigating that. But I try to do it in my own way with sort of wisdom for her, that there's a reason for these behaviors. However, you don't have to put up with it. So it's definitely, she's young 6, but they're fully formed by 7. So you don't have to hesitate to have these conversations that are sort of deep and serious about boundaries and what to look for and what kind of friends do you want. Like an example I probably showed you growing a spiritual child is boundaries. And one of the things I told her was you have a friend and you guys are always fighting because you like the good. What is bad is bad. And then you have other friends where it's not like that. So do you want friends who are nice to you half the time or nice to you all the time? Mommy only wants friends who are nice to me all the time. I'm not going to be friends with someone who's only nice to me half the time because I like the other half so much. So it's interesting. I have these conversations early. I would highly recommend you guys do it too. They can understand this stuff. They really can. Or maybe my child's bright. I think they all can understand it. But, I try to give her, like, there's a reason, that people are like this, but you don't have to accept it just because they're like this. So you let mommy know, or you do this, or you do that, right? And I get my ex-husband, I get him to write letters when I'm pissed off because I don't know. When it comes from me, it's just something that I'm an angry black woman. But when it comes from him, they're like, oh, who's this man? I think it's just different when a dad emails or talks to the teacher. But, if I didn't have spiritual gifts and abilities, so we got them right in line and in check, so we'll just do that. What else? Yeah, so that's what it's like raising a child. I try to balance, like I said, I don't do that, oh, they're too young to understand. Like, they're old enough to understand clicks, popularity contests. They're old enough to understand at 6. This person doesn't like me. This boy's a bully. So I don't know why y'all wait until they're older to have these conversations on, okay, they can be a bully, but they can't touch you, or they can do this, or you can hang out with this person and not that person. And of course, I'm psychic, so I'll do things psychically as well. So we'll just leave it at that so I don't freak you guys out. So we handle it like that too. But yeah, so that's it. Just wanted to go over that. So keep that in mind as you're going through life, and just sort of self-analyze and see, do I have that? Did I access deeper wisdom? Did I access deeper spiritual gifts? Did I access this? Just self-reflect a little bit, because it's really cool when you start to see, I actually did, and this is what I get, and my connection to this and my connection to that just became so much stronger. My intuition, all of that. So if you do have any of those, go ahead and like and comment in the comments any of what you can resonate with this, and how it's benefited you. I like it just because I am just more in flow and psychically connected to everything. And the more I'm psychically connected, I don't even get too upset about things anymore. I'm just like, it'll work itself out, and you get that flow. And that's a beautiful thing. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will talk to you later. Bye.